Saumya, you can start, I guess.
Hello everyone, and welcome to today's session. I'm Saumya Chaturvedi from Skyyskill Academy, and today we are going to talk about India's electric vehicle charging infrastructure. So, today we are having a very special speaker from E&ICT Academy, IIT Kanpur, uh, Arks Srinivas, sir. So, welcome, sir, to Skyskill Academy's
Thank you.
this very live interactive session. So let's talk about it now. So let's talk about the current landscape actually. So there are various growing demands for the electric vehicle in India, and it is booming. It is already a booming market, and the rise is actually exponentially. But there is like a limited infrastructure right now, especially in the rural areas and some smaller cities. So for that, you can say that private investment, like private companies are playing a vital role in the development of charging infrastructure, partnering with the governments and investing in new technologies. Also, government is supporting with like various schemes over there. So we'll be talking about the schemes in a short while. So Indian government has already launched several initiatives to promote the adoption of electric vehicles and the development of charging infrastructure. So any points you would like to
Here, very correctly, if we remember, Saumya, in the last session also that we talked about the battery side, how important that is.
Yes, sir.
And as important as we understand for the EV vehicles, the battery is the EV charging landscape, which is what I think today's discussion is all about. Now,
Yeah.
I would like to take our quick reference back to CNG. One of the reasons why CNG did not do very well across the country is because of the CNG stations that were not there. At the same time, what you talked about the government support and a kind of a forcing of every vehicle to be at least partly CNG and getting the diesels out of the equation, what Delhi has done has ensured that not only, of course, there is a lot of potential, not only that CNG was adopted very, very hugely, but also that CNG stations came up strongly as we went along. I suspect right now also, while there is obviously going to be huge demand for the EV vehicles, the basic problem continues to be the investment which has not happened and government support, which is anyway, thanks to Mr. Nitin Gadkari, I think we will see a huge change. So, I think, is there somebody in your side who is talking? Just check it out. Yeah, I just make sure that somebody who is next to you or somebody is talking a lot, if you can ask them not to.
Sure, sir.
Yeah, go to the next one.
Okay, so moving forward, we have like different charging stations deployments. So as we all know that public charging stations are there, private charging stations as well as fast charging stations are there. So but the only thing is like the public charging stations are actually like located in the traffic areas, like your gas stations are there, shopping malls, parking garages. Then for the private charging stations over there, it is basically installed at your homes, workplace, and apartment complexes. For the fast charging stations, these are basically becoming increasingly common, offering rapid charging times to reduce the time spent waiting for vehicles to charge. Next, let's talk about some of the challenges and the barriers. Aksar, over to you for this.
So, like we said, one of the reasons why we are discussing EV charging stations is because if you look at only last year, March, we had 2.5 million EV vehicles. That has gone up to 5 million EV vehicles in the last 1 year itself, totally. Now, there are going to be a lot more challenges as we go along. Can you mute yourself, Saumya? Yeah, I think somebody is really making a lot of noise, Saumya. We need to make sure that that background is not there, background noise is not there. Please tell people not to speak at the back. And coming
Sure,
back to
sir.
this, yeah. Therefore, when we're talking about, and 5 million is very less, as I call it, but that I believe that the more electric, the EV charging stations come up, it is only going to become more and more, prominent that EV technology is anyway growing. I think the EV adoption will become important. Like you said, the challenges, of course, one of the problems is there are enough EV vehicle manufacturers producing from different countries, whether it is a Korean or it's a Indian itself or Tesla that we talked about, which has been imported. The lack of standardization of these charging technologies also is, creating a lot of interoperability issues. I suspect that over a period of time, that also will get reduced. That is point number one. Point number two, to keep that very, very high, and to keep the EV or charging stations ready, I think the investment that is required, as we call it, the very high cost, is a significant barrier. And that, if can be miniaturized in one way or the other, or kind of portableized, I think there will be a lot of developments in this system also. And the last one, the existing electrical grid infrastructure itself is not sufficient to handle the requirement for EV charging. I would actually say it is not that it is not enough. The problem with India's infrastructure, especially in the electricity side, is the pilferage that happens, the losses that happen. If that can be plugged and or more infrastructure is installed, I suspect that EV charging stations will also go up, and therefore the EV market will also become bigger. Next.
So next, let's talk about some government initiatives. So FAME India scheme, which is the faster adoption and manufacturing of hybrid and electric vehicles in India, it basically provides the financial incentives for the purchase of electric vehicles and the deployment of charging infrastructure. Next, we have the National Electric Mobility Mission. So this actually plans to set the targets for the adoption of electric vehicles and outlines the strategies for developing a robust EV charging ecosystem in India. Next, it's basically like very common, which is public and private partnerships. So the government is encouraging public-private partnerships to accelerate the development and the deployment of EV charging infrastructure across the country. So any comments on this, sir?
Not only comments, actually, Saumya. One of the important things that we need to understand is wherever such government initiatives are there, while some of them at the top level will understand these initiatives and will be able to utilize these schemes that are there, whether the FAME scheme or the NEMM scheme, I think the students that we are looking at, the participants who will join us, as well as more importantly, the experts, the more they learn about these schemes, understand these schemes, and understand how to utilize these schemes, the more players will be able to get benefit out of these schemes, which is where I think the real knowledge, understanding and assimilation and deployment of these kind of initiatives is critical towards the growth of the EV charging, is what I would say.
Definitely, sir. I truly agree on that. Next is like technology advancements. So fast charging technologies, as you know that like DC fast charging, some level 1, level 2, level 3 chargings are already there. Then fast chargings are there. Then comes your smart charging. So technologies use algorithms and data analytics to optimize the use of charging infrastructure and minimize the electricity cost. Charging station mapping. So mobile applications and online platforms are providing real-time information on the availability of charging stations. So you can see like many private companies are there which are actually producing the charging stations, and with that they are producing like creating their own apps in which they can see, like a user can see where the next charging station is. So it will remove the you can say as an anxiety in the users that like if I travel, let's say 300 kilometer, 500 kilometers, it will reduce the anxiety that at least there is a charging station nearby where I can charge the vehicle. Next is the payment solutions. So convenient payment solutions are being integrated into charging stations. You also can see like some swap technologies are there. So battery swapping stations are also there in the series. EV owners to pay for charging using various methods such as credit card, mobile wallets, and online platforms. So this is basically a simple, payment solution. So you can say like with the Bharat UPI and like all the other UPIs are already there. So this is regarding the technology advancements. So placement opportunities, if we say for the students, so Arks, over to you. So
No, in fact, if you can just go back to the previous one for a moment, a couple of things that I would like to say on this, that this is where for a student, they have to learn the new technological advancements. The more they understand where their value will be, that is where opportunities they can tap into. For example, that you talked about is smart charging. Smart charging is typically using technologies which are more of data analytics and algorithm based. Again, a lot of computer science involvement, statistical involvement, and mathematical involvement is there. So it is not only electrical that when we talk about when it's talked about EV. And that is where when you go to the next page, the choices available for us, the placements for students available at the very least level, at the basic charging infrastructure and design development, basic technicians can get up to 2.5 to 4 lakh rupees per annum. By the way, this is at the very, very bare minimum, at the starting level, at the technicians level. In a software development in that sense, again, we are not even talking about high level software where we are discussing specifically for EV easily in the range of, again, at the freshers level, 4 to 8 lakh rupees. The more you go into the project management levels and the marketing and sales levels within the EV system, once again, the opportunities which are available are going to be much higher than and probably equivalent to other MBAs, for example, in the marketing and sales side. And I think once a student is very keen on which area he or she should be into, I think finding out those opportunities and getting them enrolled into such kind of getting them joining such kind of opportunities becomes that much more easier. And that is where I think Skyyskill also has been putting in an effort where we at E&ICT Academy partner with very specific tech players who are working towards such kind of a training, education, and make students ready for the job-oriented markets.
So talking about the E&ICT Academy and Skyskill, so actually we are offering like various courses in this particular field. So we are having two in the basic certification, like regarding your current topic, which is for today. So which is electric vehicle technology and powertrain. So it's a 1 month online course with 100% live and with assignments. Then we have the autonomous vehicle and ADAS, and also talking about the professional courses, which is the professional certification program on vehicle design and analysis. So this is a 7 months online program with 100% live and industry projects. So also once you join these programs, you will be completely mentored and trained regarding all the industry standards that are there. And also you can get the certificate from E&ICT Academy, IIT Kanpur. So yeah, so you can see on the screen, this is the sample certificate that you will be getting. So you can simply just go to ifacet.itk.ac.in. So you can see the link right at the bottom right corner. So you can simply go there and check all the courses that are available. Also, you can come to skyyskill.com. So over there also you can see for the professional as well as the basic certification courses. So thank you, everyone. Any question answers, like any questions that you might have for this entire session, you can ask, whether it is regarding to the the EV charging infrastructure in India or regarding to the courses.
You can use the chat window to ask that questions. One thing, Saumya, if you can just also inform people, when is it that we are starting this 1 month sessions and the 7-month professional certification?
Okay, so actually, right now, 1 month certification courses on EV technology is currently ongoing. Autonomous vehicle and ADAS we will be starting in like the after like after month of July, and for the vehicle design analysis will be starting in August. So you can simply enroll now because limited seats are there.
What we can do, Saumya, is that these kind of courses, can we have a very small understanding of maybe in the next few days, put up what exactly will an electrical vehicle technology and powertrain in that 1 month be taught? A small 30-second video. Similarly, autonomous vehicle and ADAS, what will they have in that 1 minute video kind of things, as well as the vehicle design analysis, so that students who are very keen on a long-term relationship or a professional learning in the EV side, EV technology side, as well as the EV battery side or EV charging side, they will be able to pick it up and utilize our courses.
Definitely, sir. So we'll be having more such sessions in the future as well. So, sir, actually, right now I'm getting a question on YouTube. So, because since we are live on YouTube as well, so the question is like, what are the major challenges that are faced in, like expanding the EV infrastructure?
I think the key problem is money, and it's a chicken and egg problem actually. I can have infrastructure, but if there are not enough people who are using it, which means the number of EV vehicle users are not high, then I will not be able to make money for a very long time. So the threshold or the break-even point goes longer or becomes longer. The reverse, if I don't, for a person who is buying an EV vehicle, he will only buy it when he or she is very sure that there are enough charging stations. It is always going to be that kind of a chicken and egg and who goes first kind of a situation. And in this kind of case, the only way it will happen is when the government not only encourages, also mandates that this many charging stations are required. That's where we talked about government charging stations, which will come up quite a bit of it. And very soon, once the number of vehicles on the road goes up, which use EV technology and EV charging, which are compatible and the interoperability issues are taken care of, we believe and very strongly at that it is going to expand very, very fast, even at a cost, simply because I think then the cost will be bearable in that sense.
So, sir, like another question is, okay. So, regarding the standardization that we have talked in the previous slide, so like what is actually stopping us from making, like a standard type for charger?
Oh, because that's a very simple reason for that. Because individual car vehicle manufacturers have started getting into this EV zone. It takes time for, it's almost like a data protection act that uh, the world has come into, and we are coming out with the data protection act only this month or the next month kind of things. Similarly, when you talk about generative AI or AI, how do you deal with AI? When a technology grows up very, very fast, there are multiple people who are at the same time developing this technology. They are not necessarily on the same page all the time, and hence when the development such things kind of happen, I think people are doing it on an isolation in that sense. Somebody is doing in the US, somebody is doing in Europe, somebody is doing in Japan or South Korea or India or China or wherever else that may be. And when that happens, there is going to be a problem or the lack of standardization. But having said this, I think as a whole, the world, and I'm talking about all the countries, have started realizing that EV is a right way to go. I'm not saying the only way to go, but one of the right ways to go forward to reduce the fossil fuel usages in the cars. Diesel specifically has to be going out, and slowly the petrol will also go out. Once that is done, I think the bodies which are there, the automobile bodies will come together and come out with this kind of a standardization model. Once that comes in, I think it's easy to get a standardization. Please understand, even today, it's been more than 20 years or 25 years since your mobile phones are there, but the Android charging is different, your iPhone charging is different. Within iPhone charging itself, there are different chargings. Please understand, if you go to different countries, the frequency at which and the voltage at which each one operates, and therefore what kind of sockets are required, that also keeps changing. Europe is different, US is different, your Southeast Asia is different, Australia is different, India is different. Please understand, it's going to happen, but there will be a connectivity, there will be some interoperability. That's what I keep using this word. There will be systems, standardizations, which will make sure that operability between two different systems will be possible. It's a matter of time. And once that happens, that's what we are talking about, lack of standardization. And you are a person who is interested in that. I think you could work towards such a kind of a standardization also and make the best out of the situations too. And it's going to happen very soon.
Definitely, sir. So there is one more question over here. Like, how can you see the future of like India as if we are talking about the EV infrastructure development?
See, first and foremost, the Tata Motors have put in lots and lots of money into that. Mahindras have also put into it, and while Tesla may or may not come, in fact, today's information says that Tesla may actually not come into India, but it doesn't matter because everybody else is putting a lot of effort into it. Nitin Gadkari, the roads and transport minister, has very clearly said that 2020, 2033 or 2035, we need to convert everything into EV. And hence, I think it is just 10 years from today, a decade from today, when we actually will see the conversion happening. And therefore, getting into this business and getting into this technology, getting into this area will be the future, is what we expect at this stage. I'm not saying that I'm an astrologer, but given the conditions, I think that is going to happen.
So we are having few questions in the chat, sir. So first of all, like Sudeep is asking, for charging the EV vehicles, we have to use non-renewable energies. As India is mostly generating electricity is coming from non-renewable energies, then how is called a green energy?
Correct. That's exactly where we are. See, it is not necessarily that non-renewable or renewable as important. It is less polluting or not, which is much, much more important. While we keep talking about EV, one of the other fuels which is also gaining really traction is hydrogen as a fuel in that sense. Now, that also is dangerous. Also, the completion of lithium batteries is not very dangerous. Again, Sudeep, please understand that again, there's like doomsday theorists. There everywhere. I don't think you should really look at it. And there are enough researchers who have gone through and saying that it may still be the safest option as compared to what we have. See, finally, at the end of the day, a decision when you take is based on what is the alternative to what we have, and what we have, if it is going to be worse off, what is the next best alternative? It's the next best alternative that we are definitely discussing about. And Ashish has talked about the hybrid EV versus EV. Please understand, hybrid EV is already there right now. And one of the reasons why hybrid EV exists right now is because of all the issues that we talked about in terms of lack of standardization, not availability of batteries, not availability of EV charging stations, or the cost of the EV vehicle, all these things, cost of the batteries itself. I think when such infrastructural issues are taken care of, you will see a huge, huge change. And my suspicion is that it's not going to be too long, maybe another few years, where we see that pure EVs will become more like it on the roads.
Definitely agreeing with you, sir. So also, Sudeep, like you can say lithium mining is actually dangerous, but most of the time, like lithium batteries are recycled. So there are various companies over there. So like Loham is also already there in India, which is actually recycling all these lithium-ion battery, and it is reproducing them for the charging. Like for charging in the as a in the battery packs. So I guess, sir, that's about it for today. So thank you very much for joining in, sir. On a very actually, it's a very interactive and wonderful session. So hopefully, looking for more sessions from you in the future. So thank you, sir, for joining in. Thank you, everyone.